The Challenge is certainly one of the Olsen's more interesting films, because in this one, they actually start out as estranged sisters who meet together on this TV show. Kind of like a cross between It Takes Two, one of their films, and The Parent Trap. It's a pretty good concept, not my favourite of their films, but one that I'm still kind of happy to watch whenever. This was released in 2003, directed by Craig Shapiro, and Mary-Kate and Ashley play characters Shane and Elizabeth. They're not my favourite names that the Olsens have had in any of their films. Shane is an interesting choice. Elizabeth is a particularly interesting choice because of their sister, of course, Elizabeth Olsen. There is a kind of trivia thing on IMDb that says they have a sister called Elizabeth Shane Olsen, but Elizabeth Olsen's middle name is Chase. So I'm not sure where that information came from or why Ashley's character was called Elizabeth. It would seem like an odd choice. But if that's this film's biggest problem, then that's hardly going to cause any issues. So the fact that they're taking part in this reality show, The Challenge, it's a kind of Survivor-style show. It means they get a lot of competition, and when they are competing, for example, in films like Winning London, it's great to see the passion in them. For the younger viewer, it's very inspiring and helps to make people more determined to, go on adventures and try new things and try and succeed. This one has a college scholarship as the prize, which is brilliant, because I am all for films aimed at children that encourage education. And most of the Olsen's films are very fashion-centric and things like that. But actually, again, with Winning London, it's very educational-led. And I think that's something that I find really admirable. So while the outdoor nature of this film isn't really my idea of fun, I do kind of like the main purpose of it. Their performances are great, no complaints there. It does feel like an Olsen film. It's got all of the hallmarks of an Olsen film. One character is a bit more outgoing, the other one's a little bit more reserved. The adventure is set in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. It's always interesting. Again, most of their films take place in a different place. I'm trying to think if there were any that were in the same location. Maybe Switching Goals would have been in the same location as another one, possibly Billboard Dad. I'm top of my head can't remember where Billboard Dad was set. But obviously taking us on location again is something that's always fun and interesting. And it was actually filmed there, at least partly in there. So it's nice to see different scenery. The fashion in this is not my favourite from their films, but obviously still decent because it's the Olsens. It's a good fun film if you're an Olsen fan. I don't know if this would appeal to you if you're maybe not the biggest Olsen fan ever. But for me personally, I found it quite fun and one that I'm happy to recommend to any Olsen fan looking for that bit of nostalgia. It's one of their easier to watch films, I think. And the last direct-to-video that they did, which is, the end of an era. It's a little bit sad when you kind of think about this. That's how it was concluded. And I wish that wasn't the case. Or do I? I really don't know. I don't know if I wish they were still making films. I'm not really sure if it would still work, to be perfectly honest. Certainly not in the same way that it does now. But regardless of that, this film is pretty good fun. They did do New York Minute after this, which was a bit of a wider release, which is nice because then that kind of leaves us on a bit more of a high. But in terms of just VHS, yeah, the Challenge on VHS, I did have the Challenge on VHS, and that kind of orangey yellow cover sticks in my mind very well. It's not a bad film at all.